And let's do a quick recap. The Bajoran who was suspected of. Uh, okay, now that I've started, now that I've started, Adam's mic is going crazy.
Oh, hold on. Here, I'll mute me. I'll mute me.
um, so let's see. There was the Bajoran, Lieutenant Angel, who was suspected of killing a few of the Zealand that were arriving for a peace conference. And committed suicide. Apparently had killed himself. So Shanna investigated the matter, if I recall correctly, putting her Kalhaya on hold, and found that it really was what it appeared to be. There is no conspiracies involved. It was a case of one person with a history of dissociative identity disorder who could not couldn't bear the fact that the Federation was negotiating with a race that occupied other species worlds, and took matters into his own hands. We got a very touching scene with Jonas in the holodeck. A couple, in fact. One where he was working on his solar ship, and got visited by someone who seemed to know a thing or two about solar ships. Another where he planted a tree uh, for Lieutenant Angel in a holo simulation that he shared with Dahlei. And it's the first time he had shared it with anybody. So that was kind of a nice touch. The big sticking point with the negotiations was the Zealand need some way to metabolize their compound that's similar to Ketracel White. Um, as a result of having an evolutionary divergence from the Herc. It seemed like that had been ironed out with a little bit of help from the Dominion, but there was another wrinkle in that the Zealand have asked for anyone associated with the Copper Corsair to be turned over to them. And so that, I think, is where we pick up.
Where are we?
We start our scene on the bridge of the USS Dauntless, which is in orbit around Starbase 374.
I guess Bianca is in the chair, just with her legs crossed, going over stuff on her pad.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I imagine Shiana is probably resumed her Kalhaya?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, then that's where I am.
No, so that's actually a good question, because Shiana was going to try to resume her Kahaya, solo, so that she wasn't, keeping people away from important things.
Gotcha.
So
but that would have been a conversation with Valkyrie. I don't know how that went.
I think Valkyrie would have been okay with that. Given the circumstances.
But, okay, then Bianca is in her chair fiddling with her pad.
Okay.
She kind of has her brows knitted, and she's reading, scrolling. cap every once in a while. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Is she reading anything in particular?
Pretending to be productive is what you're saying.
damn.
Actually, she's probably reading through stuff that's pertinent to the negotiations, stuff that she knows about the Copper Corsair and all of that entire operation.
Gotcha.
Just she's trying to figure out, because she does not like Section 31 being involved in this, and she's just like,
Can't imagine
yeah,
why.
Section 31's involved, and they're just gonna make it all go away. I don't feel good about this, like. And then if Rye is still on the bridge, she's just going to call out, Lieutenant Commander Cherkev, can you join me real quick?
If we're on the bridge, I will assume I'm at my station unless there's any reason I wouldn't be.
Yeah, no.
So, yes, Captain.
She just motions to the first officer's chair, and she goes, and
All right.
she says, have a seat.
Yes, Captain. So,
What do you
Rye
know
will
about-
sit. He sits with his customary pad always with him.
Mhm.
Go on, Captain. I'm sorry.
What do you know about Section 31?
Only what I've read about in briefings, but I'm a smart individual. I might be able to know more if I was able to review some information, perhaps somewhere more private.
I can give you some information to peruse at your leisure. But given your history with clandestine operations,
Yes, Captain. I might be able to see what I can come up with. Could I give you that report could I give you my findings and my analysis in the next 12 hours?
of course, but you don't know what I want you to find yet.
I'm pretty certain regardless it'll take at least 12 hours, but
I'm going to assume that Rye was familiar with the whole Copper Corsair thing. And Bianca's just going to go, the Zealand want to extradite anybody involved with the Copper Corsair operation.
yes.
And
Okay, go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
the people most closely involved to that operation are close to me. And
I see.
Section 31 has informed me that they're going to handle the matter. I want to know exactly what they're doing, because fate of my friend, my fiance, all of it is on the line. I'm not going to leave it to Section 31.
I see. I will look into the matter, Captain.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. If you'll excuse me, Captain, I have to go to the restroom. He says with a smile.
Of course,
The little Romulans.
Commander.
I have to, yes. So I will task someone else in the science department to take over my station, and then
Yeah.
I will leave the bridge.
Okay.
So to narrate briefly, real quick, I believe reaching back, I'm not sure if my character was ever directly told Commander Darrow's involvement in that whole situation, but I think I assumed part of it.
In
Like,
which
I think-
situation?
Where she took, if I'm remembering this right, is the Copper Corsair, that was the ship that Darrow snuck onto?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I remember at the time we had a conversation. She doesn't admit it, but my kind of internal thought at the time was I probably suspected, just because I think she made a comment or two in regards to something that would make a paranoid person like me and someone who does underhanded things consider she might have done this or
Yeah.
is involved. I probably officially do not know to the extent, but you know, her hands are. I suspected when she vanishes, and then we deal with all that, and suddenly she's back. I'm paranoid enough to put at least a little bit together.
I think she did drop a hint in a conversation with you prior
there
to
was.
absconding.
Yeah, there was nothing that would have ever held up in court, which is exactly what I expect to be told, and that's all.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I'm going to wander about the ship. Not wander, look like I'm moving somewhere, making sure I lose any particular tails I might have. And is that gentleman that I was exchanging information with, is he still assigned to that ship? To the ship?
Oh, let's see.
There was a guy.
Yes, it was Drex Cattell, wasn't it?
I don't remember the name. I honestly, so if you say it was him, I'm all right with the continuity, assuming that is whoever it was.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to like I said, I'm going to try to lose any tails, and I'm going to find him.
Okay.
And hope to have a conversation with him.
Hope no one saw that. Okay.
I saw nothing. What are you? No, Daniel's here.
So he's still assigned to that ship, but that ship is currently in the Alpha Quadrant. So you're not going to be able to just touch a comm badge and reach him that way.
There was a guy that I met in like 10 Forward. He dropped me off something. This, I think, was back when I was supposed to find out about the captain's telepathic abilities.
Oh, that would have been Sloan.
Gotcha. Okay, there was a dude.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, okay, cool.
And there was some Section 31 knowledge that you have, but as y'all have found out, that particular Sloan is not exactly part of Section 31.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's crossover. So what I will do then, never mind. I will still lose. I'll still try to lose a tail.
Yeah.
And I will take a Jeffries tube to some LCAR system in the ship, and I will repurpose it so that I can send a transmission and or access LCARs to research the captain's request.
Okay.
Our Jeffries tube now leads to different parts of the system. That's awesome.
It's a really long tube, y'all.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my plan. So I'm gonna throw dice at this, and then you tell me what I get.
All right. So you're looking to research basically what kind of measures Section 31 would take.
Well, that, and I'm gonna see since I work for Starfleet Intelligence or have in the past, I'm sure I've got access to at least some basic files, and I want to try to put it together. So either through the history, what's currently happening, gonna put all my clandestine skills at this, and see if I can get something for the captain.
It's not going to be an easy roll, but
nor should it.
I'm going to give it a base difficulty of 2. And depending on how many successes you get, we'll go from there.
Gotcha. Our base difficulty of 2. Let me check my sheet real fast. Oh my god, it's raining here. I feel like it never rains here.
Yeah, it's been raining on and off down here today.
Yeah, I just never hear it. And that's one thing about Colorado. Let me check. All right, there is. So is it possible, and I'm not sure if you counted for this, can I invoke my trait former Tal Shiar operative?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll give you a bonus d20 for that.
So I will absolutely take that. I doubt
River, please
the
don't claw
only
my slippers.
the only focus that could potentially apply is infiltration. And that's a maybe.
Let me look at your character sheet real fast.
Absolutely.
I might give you forensics on this one, actually.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. I'll take that then. And what would you like me to roll?
We'll do insight security.
That sounds fair. All right. Rolling 3 dice with a thing. What's our current? We don't got any momentum right now?
No momentum
All right,
currently.
I'm okay.
Yep. New episode.
Oh. All right. Let me check. I'm not using that. Not using that. Okay. Just checking my talents real fast. All right. Big money, no whammy, stop.
Okay. 2 successes. Base difficulty met.
Cool.
Given your knowledge and expertise with past intelligence operation, what it sounds like Drake is talking, or what it sounds like Section 31 might be doing here is covering up a paper trail, basically. Making evidence disappear.
Gotcha.
Like making evidence of
probably...
Starfleet's involvement with the Copper Corsair disappear, specifically. Erasing names, erasing who's been where. Not to be so ham-handed as to just erase everything, but to cover up the trail in such a way that Starfleet and particularly the crew of the Shroud have plausible deniability.
Gotcha. So here's what I'm going to do at this point in time. I'm going to get that information together for the captain. I'm also going to I'm going to include in this report ways that we could help Section 31. As in, like,
a little above and beyond.
We were involved. Or rather, I assume we're involved in some way because the captain says people near them. So how could we help Section 31 doing this? Like, if there's specific things we may want to alter. And the other thing I'm going to do is I am going to, while I was sitting next to the captain, I am going on the bridge for that 2-minute conversation. There is going to be a sudden blimp in the internal sensors, so there is no record of our conversation.
Gotcha.
Probably unnecessary, but that's me being me.
Let's make
and I
that
don't care.
Separate task.
I'll be clandestine about it, but if Darrow catches me, I'm not so worried about that. I want plausible deniability too.
Darrow's in the holodeck.
Yeah.
So
well, that's fine. If I fail and Darrow's like, why is there suddenly this happening? I'm not worried about Commander Darrow. I'm worried about other people.
Fair enough. So let's do daring security on this one.
Yes, sir.
And
all right.
I'm going to set the difficulty here at 1. It's your ship. I mean, you're assigned to this ship. You've been on it for a while. You know how the computer systems operate.
Gotcha. Will my even though it's not assisted by the ship's computer, will technical expertise apply?
Let me read.
It says technical. It says whenever you attempt a task assisted by the ship's computer or sensors, I can re-roll a d20.
So I would say no, because you're not being assisted by the ship.
All right, that's fine. I mean, I could try to lovingly talk to the ship and hopefully but we'll get it. Oh, there you go. 2 successes. I'll take it. Yeah.
There you go.
And we'll save the momentum.
Yeah.
I just want enough to just.
So
just
anyone who tries to specifically play back that segment is just going to hear the ambient bridge sounds.
Yeah.
And they're it's just going to be like a loop, kind of like Ocean's 11.
There you go. Yeah, I never walked over to the captain. I'm just do. Cool.
Right.
We'll leave it like that, and that's all I'm looking for. But other than that, like I said, I'm going to put together that particular thing and give the captain ideas in the pad that I'm going to give her, ways that we could help them.
Okay.
So, And yeah, that's what I'll do because I don't want to do anything further without the captain knowing what I'm gonna do. Or so that's what I'll do.
Good idea.
Yeah.
All right.
I have been given permission to be a sneaky Romulan. I'm not going to push it.
Fair enough. And meanwhile, back on the bridge, Bianca, you are approached by a yeoman who you have seen before. You recognize him, not as a yeoman, but he approaches you with a pad and says, Captain, could I borrow you for a moment?
And Bianca just narrows her eyes just very slightly, not like suspiciously or like maliciously or whatever. Just kind of like, I see, it's you, like. And then she just nods curtly and gestures to the ready room.
Okay.
Does Jonas feel anything at that moment?
A little bit of a wibble. Jonas being on the bridge.
Jonas will turn around and eye the captain, following the wibble in space time.
River, honey, now is not the time. Go on. Get. Sorry, hang on, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
River is being a baby.
River has summarily ruined it for any other cats who might have wanted to come in here.
She's being a baby.
Yeah, that's not what we call it. So, moving into the ready room, followed by Jonas's gaze, the yeoman reveals himself to be none other than Daniels, who you have worked with before. Says, Captain, I apologize. I know this isn't a good time. But I have
it
some...
a little mildly.
Unfortunately, I can't make the time or the news any better.
Out with it.
The individual you know as Sloane may be attempting to interfere with the peace negotiations here shortly.
Oh, just what I need.
There's more. We believe he may be receiving assistance from the Temporal Liberation Front.
Temporal Liberation Front.
A conglomeration, if you will, of beings who believe that the timeline should be open to manipulation.
Right. I think I remember reading something about that in Archer's notes about the Temporal Cold War.
Correct. I'm afraid the Temporal Cold War may have just branched out.
And the Skinia are involved. That's great.
Temporally speaking, Captain, the Skinia aren't supposed to be here. I think maybe the Temporal Liberation Front has decided to take advantage of an opportunity.
Yeah, well, they're going to get screwed in the end, just like we get screwed with the Skinia anytime they pop up. I knew it was too much to hope that we had shut that shit down. We don't even know who the Skinia are, where they come from, what they want. There's no way to stop it.
Well, there are a few things we do know that I can fill in, and he sets a device down on your desk, and you find the two of you kind of surrounded by this visage of timelines moving in and out, like weaving in and out of each other. Events from the past, you can kind of see caught in freeze frame as they kind of swirl around this area. Daniel says, from what we understand, the Skinia are themselves something of a temporal anomaly. They emerged into the timeline, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it, several centuries in our future, and simultaneously several millennia in the past. They are
Like
tied.
the ring.
They are tied inherently to this nebula and to the ring. That's what we know about them. As of right now, there are two divergent timelines in the distant future, and he pulls up one section of the timeline right around the 42nd century. He says, of course, what I have to say here can't go beyond the confines of this room.
Noted.
In the predominant timeline, the events that the existence of the Skinia never comes to pass. There is no mass extinction on a galactic scale. On the other, we have exactly what the Skinia have been trying to accomplish.
Right. But how do we know which one we're in?
Right now, he says, scrolling back, we're at a point of flux, and the negotiations with the Zealand are a crucial focal point.
Do you know how they're supposed to go?
Federation is supposed to open peace negotiations with the Zealand, and in 2,000 years, he says, scrolling forward again, we'll have this, and you see a collection of hundreds of ships that look completely alien to you, Bianca. You've never seen
A collection of what?
hundreds of
out,
ships.
Right?
Hundreds
Okay.
of ships that look like nothing you've ever seen before. He says, at this point in the future, there is a joint Zealand Federation task force that, from what I can discern, is able to prevent the Skinia attack from ever happening.
So these peace negotiations have to succeed.
The peace negotiations will succeed unless they're sabotaged.
Right. Well, we've
Unless
already had
Sloan
someone
gets
try
his
to
way.
do that.
Right, and that was part of the timeline. That was supposed to happen.
What happens to everybody who was involved in the Copper Corsair operation? The Zealand have insisted that as part of any treaty that they be extradited.
Sadly, Captain, there's only so much that I can disclose, and I feel like I might be violating the Temporal Prime Directive if I were to disclose that.
And you're not violating it now?
Right now,
given me all the other. You've given me some pretty granular information so far.
Because I need you to realize the importance of stopping this action on Sloane's part.
Sloan, I can deal with. We've beat him before. We can beat him again. When we leave this room, I want you to ensure that the computers and holographic systems aboard this ship, all the ships in the task force, and the starbase are locked down and secured.
Aye, aye.
You don't want my personal feelings to get in the way of these proceedings, do you? And I'm going to telepathically read him.
Okay. Let's do a contested roll. This will be Insight Command for you. I'm going to call it Control Command for Daniels.
Does my composure focus apply?
Not here.
Diplomacy?
Nope, sorry.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. He's playing close to his vest, of course, and he's been trained to resist telepathy. You're still able to pick up reluctance on his part to disclose anything that might upset the way events are supposed to play out.
Look, I understand. I understood the stakes of these negotiations failing before you revealed all of this to me.
Captain, if I even give you a hint as to how you might resolve this situation with the Zealand, then that tips the balance of the timeline in terms of how you actually go about doing it.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions. What's Section 31's play?
I honestly don't know. If they're involved, then I have to suspect it's because they're supposed to be involved.
I just don't like that they're involved, that's all.
I understand. Agencies and people that deal in secrets are a bit contrary to Betazoid culture. And he kind of gives a soft smile at that.
You're a bit contrary to what this Federation is supposed to stand for.
That too.
I have a couple calls to make, if that's all.
That is, Captain. I will get started conveying your instructions to Starbase 374.
Thank you. And make sure you let Lieutenant Commander Ron know to secure our systems here as well.
Yes.
And across the fleet.
Commander Ron and Commander Rai might actually prove a pretty decent team at figuring out the details of this Skinia plot.
I'm counting on it.
And he deactivates the device on the desk, and his hollow disguise reactivates. He's once again a yeoman in an Odyssey uniform.
Then be about it, yeoman.
Aye, ma'am.
And when he walks out, she's going to send a secure hail to her mother.
Okay. By this point, uh, Admiral Quarty is settled back down on Earth space dock. It's been a while since that incident. So, hailing frequencies open. This is Admiral Quarty. Bianca, what can I do for you?
Mother, I have a favor to ask.
Of course, what is it?
I don't know how dialed in you are into Starfleet intelligence operations, but I need to know who gave the order for a operation known as Copper Corsair.
That came from... And she types a couple of buttons in. It's a secure channel, but... Just a moment. And you get the Starfleet logo. And mentally you hear, that was the director of Starfleet Intelligence.
And mentally she says back, do you know why?
Within the Admiralty, there has been a good amount of debate as to what to do with the Zealand. And Starfleet, DSI has been a little bit more hawkish on that front. They wanted to instigate a conflict.
Well, they've put my fiance and my best friends in danger. The Zealand want to extradite them as part of any peace treaty.
If the Federation knew that there are Federation citizens involved with that, if that got outside the Admiralty, there's no way. The treaty would fall apart.
This I know. But I'm not going to let them be extradited because the director of Starfleet Intelligence wanted to instigate a war with a species that has an Iconian gateway in its own system. I'm not going to let them be sacrificial lambs.
I think I need to have a talk with DSI and Admiral Quinn. How do you want to proceed?
I'm not the Admiral.
No,
why I
but you know
came to
that
you.
sector. Your recommendation will go a long way in my conversation.
Well,
Obviously,
I know
extradition is not going to happen.
Obviously, but the Zealand are going to want some kind of justice. And to be honest, I don't blame them. They know more than they're letting on. Because the Timberwolf was destroyed in their home system and they got something from the wreckage, they know Starfleet is involved somehow. Section 31 is trying to erase the paper trail, but I have a feeling they're not going to be able to erase Talia's direct involvement. I feel like they're going to let her, maybe even Varric, out to dry. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let that happen. And the person who gave them the order. And Varric follows orders. And the person who gave him that order would walk free. No, I can't do that.
tell you what I can do. I can have the shroud reassigned under my command.
And what would that do?
Well, the Directorate of Starfleet Intelligence can't give something to the Xenon that they don't own.
No, but it still leaves us with the fact that the Zealand could very well be able to connect the shroud to the Copper Corsair. And they'll call for Valric's head. And there's just too much writing on this for... I would just like to have my fiancé and the future intact. Let's just say that.
I get it. I do. So give me alternatives.
I want to give them who gave the order. If we can't do that, I will offer up myself.
Bianca, give me realistic alternatives.
I'll give up myself. They know that I am, even though the shroud was not under my command at the time, I am the big one with the stick out here. And Valric would listen to me if I had told him to stop. He would have listened to me. But I didn't. And if that's the only way we're going to get a peace treaty, then I'll do it.
When I said that Starfleet isn't going to do extraditions on this, that meant nobody. If we're not going to give them a lieutenant or the captain of the Shroud, who were more directly involved than you, then we are not going to give them you either.
They're going to want someone. Something. And unless we blatantly lie to them that we had nothing to do with it, then... which they're not going to buy. They know we were involved. When they came aboard my ship, they dropped the Timberwolf's dedication plaque on my desk to tell me that they knew. I don't think they're going to be any more flexible on this than Starfleet is on extraditing anybody. Plus, Dad always said that lies are really shitty ways to build alliances. You know, I wasn't his biggest fan, but he was right about that.
I may have something. I still want suggestions from you, but I'm going to put a plan of action together. And I'll be in touch.
Okay. And then Bianca is going to tell her telepathically, talk to Zazaret.
Duly noted.
Keep me posted.
Will do. QWERTY out. And the screen goes black.
And Bianca just kind of like leans her head back, exhales, and then she gets up from her chair and goes back out onto the bridge.
Okay. So let's switch things up for a bit as we turn to Shienna, who is in the uncomfortable position. Literally, I do recall in Worf's Kalhaya they were hanging at some point, like
From their ankles from the ceiling. Yeah, I think so.
So here's where we find Shienna with Valkyrie standing right side up, about a meter away from her, and listening as Shienna recites the matrilineal heritage of the House of Duras. So
I worked so hard on this. I memorized.
and so far so good, even if you weren't necessarily expecting to be under this kind of duress. But I would like to do a roll for this if you're okay with that, Shiana.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's do fitness command. And I'm going to set the difficulty here at 2. Your composure focus will 100% apply. And there's 3 successes. Nicely done. So, your practice and the amount of effort that you've put into like memorizing this and basically learning it seem to have impressed the lady of the House of Duras, whose body language shifts subtly. Like, she's not quite as standoffish as she had been previously. I am not easily impressed, Commander Darrow, but I will say this, you have managed.
You should call me Shienna.
Very well, Shienna. You have my permission to join the House of Duras and to wed Plaquer.
Oh yeah.
I will officiate the ceremony in 2 days' time.
My thanks, Lady Valkyrie. I intend to continue to do you honor.
Shanna, give me an... Let's do an insight security check. No, wait, fitness security. My bad. Difficulty again 2. No focus here, though. Okay. As you are saying this, she says, "Computer, deactivate program." everything dissolves into the holodeck grid, including the restraints that were keeping you held up, and you find yourself kind of in a pile. With the barest hint of a smile, Valkyrie says, "Prepare yourself for the ceremony." Computer, Arch.
Cool. Yeah, just great. Like, really doing yourself proud. Oh, God, Shanna. Okay.
So,
Yeah, so Shanna just, collects herself. Like, cool.
So.
Oh, and Bianca would have wanted you to let her know once you were done. Just so you know.
Okay, so. All right.
So as Valkyrie exits through the holodeck doors, Plakir comes in and just kind of collects you.
You're very sweet. This is humiliating.
Well, no one ever has to know. Valkyrie, Mother won't tell anyone. Trust me.
Are you sure? She seemed very happy to see this happen.
I think it was her way of playing a joke.
Okay, Klingon jokes. Okay, that's a thing I'm used to.
And she's practically smothering your face with kisses at this point. Come on, let's go get you cleaned up. Well,
yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. And I need to let Bianca know that I'm back. Like, what the fuck has happened while I've been here?
I imagine she could fill you in. It's been a pretty quiet couple of days.
You think they've been quiet. I somehow doubt that. And Shanna feels her chief of security blood, like, just, flowing. It's the middle of a diplomatic conference that's fraught with tension. There's already been murder.
Just a little light murder,
A little light murder. No big deal.
So Bianca, on the bridge, you get a incoming communication.
This is Captain West.
Oh, I was trying to set up the comm from Shiana, but I may have jumped the shark on that a little. Hang on, she's typing. Wait for it.
Oh gosh, no, I wasn't like typing anything important. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. So yeah, you have a moment here if you decide you want to contact the captain.
Yeah, so Commander Darrow to Captain West.
This is Captain West.
I've officially finished my Kahaya.
Good for you. You're sweaty and gross, and you probably want to shower, but I need you in my ready room.
Okay. I will double time it, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, get me to a shower now.
You can have a shower after we're done.
No, that was her talking to Plakir.
That's Plakir's line. Okay, so in the ready room, who all else is there, if anyone?
Just actually, let's all hands on deck it. Let's have Rye and Jezza and Shiana and the whole motley,
The whole shebang.
and Jonas. Can't believe I ever got Jonas. The whole motley crew.
Who is also staring at the captain with loads of questions in his eyes, but knows better than to ask.
So maybe the conference room for this one, then.
Sure.
I saw that blip in time go into your other room. I saw that. Don't think I didn't see that, Captain.
I have received intelligence. Taps the side of her nose.
At least it's not Q. That's a good.
Oh, God. Like, if things couldn't get any worse, Q would be like the cherry on top. Like, fuck me. Alright.
Q would be amusing.
Alright. And Bianca's just going to say, thank you all for coming to this somewhat urgent staff meeting. Actually, quite urgent staff meeting. I have received intelligence reports that our holographic avatar of a dead Section 31 agent is still around and kicking, and he is going to be trying to disrupt the peace talks with the Zealand.
Ryan nods as if almost expecting that.
And she just like looks at Shiana and she goes, we're not going to get caught with our britches down this time. Bring us to yellow alert, set the entire fleet at yellow alert and the station. Make sure everything is secure. And then she looks at Jezza and Rye and she goes, Commander Ron, Commander Trekev, I want you to start working on ways we can foil our holographic friend.
I'm sorry, Captain. I'm happy to do that. I think you're mistaking me for the former host. I just have his memories. I'm not him.
Actually, I don't really know much about your former host, Commander Ron. I just know that you're a chief engineer aboard my ship, and that having some engineering workarounds for a hologram would probably be a good idea.
Then, you know what? Forget I said anything?
I think Commander Ron might be mentioning the fact that she was not on duty when we battled our holographic intruder and might need a little bit of catching up. I can do that once we begin working.
Definitely. I will leave it to you, Commander Trekev, to bring her up to speed. Now, and definitely the records will be available to you as a senior officer on this ship. But needless to say, this entity is the work of a race that we have never seen, never heard from. They are very enigmatic. They're called the Skinia. And to say they move in mysterious ways would be cliche, but accurate. And they have the ability to not only hack technology extremely efficiently and insidiously, but they also have the ability to use
Gesundheit.
She's having a seizure. Call the doctor.
Please state the nature of the temporal emergency.
But to use technology in order to indoctrinate other people in a form of mind control. I want to make sure that that's not going to be easy to do, at least. We don't know much about them, but hopefully what we do know, we can be as prepared as possible.
Real quick, out of character, these are the people that hack people with memes, right? With images? All right, just cool.
The ones who can
That's
also,
what-
like, make asteroids appear out of nowhere and head to planets.
Well, yeah.
And she just looks very pointedly at Jonas and she goes, "Keep listening."
I haven't stopped since we first heard about them, Captain.
As I probably thought. We're going to need some sort of warning when they do make their appearance. At least we have more warning now than we did initially, and hopefully we'll be more on our guard. But if we know anything about Sloan, he's devious. And we can expect the unexpected.
Do we know how he showed? You said he holographic in the way he hides himself, but does he use any other means of keeping himself hidden? Because if he doesn't, it'd be fairly simple to set up some sort of routine sensor sweep every 5 minutes or so.
So, the way he presented himself last time, he had a sort of mobile emitter that was like an armband.
Yeah. He himself, Commander Run, is a holographic entity.
Oh, he is just entirely holographic.
Yes.
At least that's how he presented himself last time. Given the fact that the Skinia have never revealed themselves to us directly and have only worked through computers and holographic avatars like Sloan, it would be reasonable to assume that is how he would appear again. But I can't rule out the possibility that there could be some sort of mind control happening. He could look like anything, be like anything.
Well, it doesn't necessarily hurt to set up scans regardless, though, if he is
of course
simply a hologram.
I've also had all of the holographic systems locked down to command personnel, myself and Commander Darrow only. Because he was able to practically disable the ship just using the holographic systems, and also almost killed me in the holodeck. So he's a piece of work.
And almost killed Shiana aboard the Valk.
Oh yeah. And he's also very deadly in hand-to-hand combat, So,
at the very least, it's easy enough to set up scans for anything odd, and any holographics outside of holodecks. More difficult to track, of course, but won't hurt.
Definitely. And whatever protocols you all come up with, make sure they're disseminated to the rest of the ships in the fleet, as well as to the starbase and any other Starfleet facilities. I am going to be informing the diplomatic corps and the Zealand of this potential threat as well. So hopefully we can get their systems locked down similarly.
Are you really going to give the Zealand specifics of the threat?
No, I'm just going to say that we're going to have to take some additional security precautions due to intelligence that I have received.
We'll have to tell them at least something. Otherwise, there's no point in telling them anything at all. If they're supposed to be our allies, we have to treat them as such.
Definitely a good point.
Especially
But
if I'm asking them to install any sort of sensor sweep into their system.
right, well, and they are somewhat familiar with what happened last time because the Timberwolf, which was a ship that was destroyed in their home system, nearly hit them with a mind control frequency that would have given the Skinny a control of the entire Zealand population in their home system. So
Or we
that's why
simply connect it to Yevik and his plot and an overextension of caution on our parts.
exactly. I don't have reason to believe that he was actually connected to Yevik, but we can definitely use Yevik as a reason that we might want to step up security.
Let's use Yevik and deflect the reality from the reality of it for now.
Sounds like a good game plan.
I have ideas.
Of course you do.
Oh, I'm sure you do, Commander.
And I'm sure I'll help you find more ideas within the next, what do you think, 10 minutes?
Yeah, I'm really once I come up with the ideas, Commander. It's your job to build them. It's easier to come up with the idea than it is to build it.
Ain't that the truth? All right, you all dismissed. Are dismissed. Let's be about it.
Yes, ma'am.
So I will go with Commander Ron. And really the question is for the two of us, where to begin?
And Bianca's just going to nod to Shiana and go, I will have you disseminate the information to the diplomatic corps and the Zealand as far as the security arrangements.
Will do, Captain.
Before,
By the way,
okay.
I've been approved to get married.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, I'm officially accepted into the House of Duras.
No, not quite, but close.
Well, not quite until the ceremony, blah, 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 but the Lady Valkyrie has given her permission.
Huh, that's not an easy thing to earn. A Klingon matriarch's permission.
I know it wasn't.
At the news, Commander Rye will approach Commander Darrow, and he has a different smile about his face when he says congratulations, almost as if half of the time his other smiles are fake. But he goes, congratulations, Shiana. He actually, because it's a very personal moment, so he calls her by the first name. Congratulations, Shiana. Commander Darrow, I'm going to assign Lieutenant Fields to work with you while you do anything necessary to alter the sensors for part of your security protocols while I'm busy with Commander Ron. If that's agreeable to you.
Of course. Thank you, Rye. Congratulations. And thank you for the extra technical assistance.
Is this your...
I might be busy.
Is this your first marriage, Commander Darrow?
It is, actually.
My first was interesting.
Well,
would
I
like that.
do hope for it to be my first and last.
I hope so too. They're very fulfilling when they last that long.
Honestly, I'd never thought to get married
What
until
race is Commander Darrow?
Commander Darrow is the only human in the command
Gotcha.
crew.
Gotcha. So
Which
I
is
will-
funny because Starfleet is mostly human.
Well, Rye will turn to Ron. Like, she's only going to live to be 100 or so. The average human life expectancy is only 100 years.
Judas
Of
just
which
looks
I'm
around.
well aware, Commander Kev. Thank you very much.
I would like
I'm simply stating to the commander that while longer-lived races may survive and have long, fulfilling relationships that last the remainder of their partner's lifetime.
Shiana
So-
is like blushing like crazy at this point, everybody. Like, just like the heat in her face is visible, and y'all should feel bad.
I would like it noted that I was simply asking the commander because I have had 4 marriages now, and I just simply wanted to know. And I'll have you know, Commander Rye, that I've never been married in this body. No.
Well, Lieutenant Commander
In this
Ron,
body.
if you have advice as to which things over the course of 4 marriages,
4 long marriages.
4 long marriages made for the best, for the most harmonious marriage, if you would like to share that advice, I would be open to hearing it.
After we build the anti-Sloan device.
Yes, after.
Yes, after you build the anti-clone device priorities.
But absolutely, yes. I will admit that for 3 of them, I was the husband, but
That
I'm sure it applies.
makes not a lot of difference.
I'm just stating for the record. Slightly different viewpoint, but I digress. Are we gonna go work
Commander.
on that thing now?
Yes, we should go work on that thing now.
Well, Shiana just like continues to blush and like hearts at y'all, like in a way that she's not used to and not comfortable with. And yes, she would like to just get back to work right now.
Jezza tried to connect with someone and just made it awkward.
Oh, Jezza
No,
did
she
great.
connected. Yeah,
No,
that's
Shiana is legitimately going to like seek out Jezza's advice. Like,
Oh no!
Oh no!
oh, the first time that Shiana and Plakir have like a real ass fight, you know who Shiana is coming to. Lieutenant Commander Ron, you've been married 4 times. So,
Who is wrong? It's her, right?
oh Lottie.
Oh
It's gonna
my.
be a lot of Ron just stuttering, going, you know, it'd be easier if I had both of you in here and not just one of you telling me how the other one was wrong, but you know, while tinkering with something, trying to hide her questionable notes. Jez has just signed herself up for marriage counseling duty.
First
Yep.
officer marriage counseling duty. Oh, I totally forgot to tell Mother about Sloane. The whole reason she went into hiding in the first place.
Whoops.
Candy.
Oh, so Bianca is just going to send like one word over an encrypted channel to her mother. Sloane.
Cool.
That's not going to be received poorly at all.
All right. So, where to, everybody? Who's got the who wants to move forward with the
I
with
mean,
the plot?
I got a bazillion ideas if we're talking
Yeah,
about building
and-
stuff.
And
Okay.
Jessa needs to start working on her scanning.
Okay. So let's move things down to main engineering then.
Sounds
Gotcha.
good.
So we'll be off in a corner of. Oh, actually, I guess I'm sure the chief engineer has an office. We'll be in her office.
She doesn't really have an office. She has a corner because she refuses to use an office, but she does get everyone else out.
Yeah.
She, like, gives
Well,
them
I will.
some
When
time off.
I will take Ron into the office that Ron never uses because I am paranoid and want less people to hear. So as Ron protests, like, "Oh no, here's fine. No, let's go in this other," which I'm sure everyone else reads completely differently. But I'm like, "No, we'll go in here. We'll go in here."
people under her engineering team, they know she's an awkward little weirdo. They don't think anything weird is happening.
Yeah.
They just think the Romulan's being a Romulan again.
Exactly. Commander, the way I see it, we have two issues we need to deal with.
Okay.
We have Sloan that can manifest himself or operates as a holographic entity. We need to be able to deal with that. We also have the problem of potential mass mind control. That is something else I feel we need to deal with too.
That's
So,
one
which
I'm
one
not
do you-
sure how to handle. The other one is easier. In
well, okay,
fact,
let's start with the easy one then.
so on top of, I'm just realizing that really my initial idea to have a scan every so often was only really half of the solution, if you think about it, because the other half of the solution would most easily be setting up any sort of, I don't know, power surge or some sort of field to
Rhinods.
disrupt
Some way of disrupting.
any of the holographics. Yes, at any
Yeah, stuff.
time a scan picks it up, we just disrupt it, and then there you go. Now, of course, that'll probably shut down any holodecks, but it's small.
Well, we have, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, GM, we have in lockdown his last holo emitter. We can find out the frequencies that it operates and its technical specs and perhaps create some sort of a device. I'm thinking of a pulse device that will release a pulse and disrupt any of essentially the matter and energy that creates his physical space. Essentially, that will do.
Y'all had an emitter, but it was pretty thoroughly fried, as I recall.
Cool. Well, it gives us in character a starting point. We'll look at that, whatever we got left. That'll let us extrapolate out of the 5 million frequencies it could be working on to 50. Whatever.
I'm happy to look at the scanner. The one thing I worry about is that it's always possible, or not scanner, but the emitter. It's always possible that he could be using any number of frequencies at this point.
Yeah.
But it's a jumping off.
It gives us a place to start, regardless. Knowing where his technology was approximately, I insert the when it happened, that time ago. Between now, if the Skinia are capable of exponential technological development in such a short amount of time, we're really shooting in the dark. So let's operate with what we have.
And
What
we
I'm
can
thinking.
set the
Go ahead.
device or the scanner to pick up any similar frequencies while we're at it.
Indeed, modifying the internal sensors to pick it up won't be the task. That'll be something my team and some of your side and some of your engineering teams can handle. I feel like he really emphasizes, Commander Ron, where your specific talents will be is constructing this device we're creating wholesale because I want something that's not directly hardwired to the ship. If the Skinia and Sloan has shown his ability to manipulate our systems, we need something that's physically and not connected to it. So we can move these devices, if we can create many, to different areas of the ship where we discover Sloan may be, or anywhere. So then we don't have to worry about him disabling the internal sensors and then everything we've done is wrong. So your physical structural engineering skills is what's going to be very important in this particular case.
I can start
I'm thinking,
based off of a holographic emitter in the first place and just build off of that, and it would be easy enough to alter.
Yeah, I'm thinking if it, I'm throwing it, I'm gonna just to let it run. I'm gonna throw out Trek speak. I don't care if it doesn't really work. I'm thinking we can create a certain amount of. We can create free antiprotons that will come out of a device and fire and essentially create a field, a sphere that will encompass as far as we can, hopefully disrupting his molecular cohesion through the matter. Matter and energy, very similar to our pattern buffers. So if it disrupts that and disrupts the pattern buffer, it probably would work very similar to his systems. Do you think, Ron, that you could be able to build something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
See why not, at least.
Yeah. So we have our plan for step one. Here's what I'm thinking for problem number 2, mind control. Right. I think we have one, I believe, if I remember correctly, there was a time that nearly many of the crew were subjugated to this mind control by observing an image. I looked away and refused to look at the image and thus was not subject to its control. So barring that, perhaps we can create. So that is how they'll probably start their mind control. I have 2 ideas. Well, 3, but one I think is a little too difficult, but might be something we develop. Some sort of contact lens, this is the one that we would have to mass produce, that crew can wear, thus filtering out any sort of malicious psychic, I'm not a doctor, whatever it is happening. That's 1. 2, we could try to disrupt neurotransmitters in the brain through a certain amount of radiation. Radiation targets can have negative effects on different parts of the body depending on what we focus on. We could create some sort of a device or focus some sort of radiation to disrupt that temporarily, allowing the crew to regain control of themselves. And then 3, this is the one that I think will hit the most resistance from. The captain is psychic. Perhaps we can do something or work with the captain to create a device or something. This would work with the doctor to give the captain a great deal of resistance, and perhaps the captain could free everyone from their psychic hold, from their mind-controlled holds. So which one sounds like fun? Commander?
Fun? I don't know that I would use that word for any of your suggestions, but
which sounds plausible then?
I could figure out exactly how the images worked. The first option could, in theory, be sound. I don't know that I would necessarily want to mass produce contacts, but even some sort of visor would.
Yeah, my fear is depending on whenever the Skinia enact their plan, we may not be able to create enough in time and disseminate it to everyone.
So perhaps
that's my only fear with that one.
Perhaps 2, try to mass produce. Perhaps we simply try to create enough for people that we know can have.
That is true. We can continue to produce them, and until we give a moment that the attack happens, we will have as many as we have. I think that's the most simple solution to prevent it. The second solution I believe works more towards my skill set, which could give us an advantage there. The third is a little outside our wheelhouse, but I'm not certain if the Skinia will be able to resist psychic control or psychic freedom and such. We would be getting them at their Achilles heel potentially. Sometimes the best way to disarm something is something it has no control over. Sometimes you just unplug the computer rather than trying to reboot it in safe mode.
Perhaps.
Or just throw water on it. So I leave it to you, Commander. Which one do you think has the most likelihood of success?
I almost wonder if the first option is the most immediate solution.
Then let's go with that. So step one. We'll do both plans. The first one, dealing with Sloan, creating the light anti-proton device to disrupt his hollow projector, and then move on to that. So
I think first step is scanner, because we can't do anything until we can find him. Second step is the device.
excellent.
And third step will be the contact, or vice versa, or what have you.
Sounds good. Well, the scanners, and this is just my opinion, Commander, I think that is going to be a relatively simple solution, but I value your input.
We still need to at least make sure we're doing the homework necessary to make sure
Exactly.
we're looking for the right frequencies and looking for the right things.
Gotcha.
I can't
I think
tell my people to set up a scan every so often for anything suspicious, because that could be anything.
I think we have our action plan. One, let's find out. Let's set up a protocol or algorithm to sensor scans to find out anything that's inappropriate or anything that's suspicious. Two, anti-proton or light anti-proton device. Three, contact lenses.
Indeed.
Let's get to it, Commander.
All right.
All right.
On that
There you go, John.
On that note, let's take a quick 5-minute break because I've had a lot of water and I need to get rid of some of it. I will be right back.
Sounds good. So what happens when you have two engineers and an engineer and a scientist? Like, how do we track the problem?
Whom have previous intelligence history.
So.
That might be an awkward little baby, but
I will be right back as well.
I thought it would be fun to hook the captain up to some sort of cerebro, but you know.
Oh no.
last one.
I mean, just because we're not doing it doesn't mean it's off the table.
Right? Well, we could end up
The
hitting
captain's just
walls.
wearing this like weird ass thing on her head in the captain's chair. Like,
No,
There you go.
it'd be more
She's
like it'd be more like a couple nodes.
Oh no, we need if we have to build this on the fly. It's gonna look, yeah.
I didn't
Alright,
say
Captain,
it was gonna be
this would-
pretty.
Captain, this would work much better if we shaved your head.
Oh my god. About it, Captain. We're just gonna like make you bald for a second.
This is fine.
Safety of the galaxy's at stake.
No, I am not a doctor, and I do not know exactly where to place these, but I think I know, so
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, well, incidentally, it's funny because I had a neat idea for a fun little scene between me and the doctor. I could have played into this really well, so I kind of played back another idea I had. Or details for the ideas I had. So we're not like constantly like, oh, we should include the doctor who's you know, the player's not here and that's okay. Maybe we'll just reference that we're working with Dolly.
Yup.
Especially if we're looking up electrodes to the captain's brain.
Yup. Don't worry, this shouldn't hurt. I'm fairly certain it won't hurt. It could hurt, but
Captain, turn your head and coughed. Are you allergic to shellfish?
Is that relevant? You don't want to know. One of my friends put together a spreadsheet of all Animal Crossing New Horizons like collectibles. Like all
Oh dear.
Oh my god. Like it's alphabetized. And it has different pages for different things. There's a whole sheet for bugs, and one for fish, and one for fossils.
Oh, my friend has a Bajoran phaser rifle prop, and I am jelly.
Catch more bugs.
Hello.
Hey. It's funny, just before I got on here, my Star Trek group just posted to our chat of how much they missed the game. So I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't tell them. Oh, it sucks to be you guys. I'm going to play right now.
Yeah, maybe don't.
Yeah, it's all right. They're good. It was actually a pretty decent
Oh,
group.
good. I did
and-
mute this before I walked off. That's good. Y'all didn't hear Katie cussing about Horizon Zero Dawn.
No, we did not.
No, we didn't. Darn it.
Yeah.
Darn
Erica
it.
actually was. Our PS4 stopped working a little bit, and then we just turned it on because we were going to take it once the lockdown had kind of dropped, just have someone fix it. And now it's working, purring like a kitten. So I don't know. Just turn it off for a month or two, and then everything's fine. Yeah.
All right, so y'all ready to kick back in?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, cool. So, does anyone want to pick up? I have a scene that I have planned, but I want to see if...
I think Ron and I are just at throwing dice.
Yeah,
So whenever you want us to throw dice at stuff, you tell us. But I feel like
let's do that, and tell me what you are throwing dice at.
Well, I think our first one is we're gonna create. So we have, I think, three goals. One
Right.
is the setup. Create some sort of protocol for internal sensors.
Okay.
Modify the internal sensors to make it easier to detect the Skinia/Sloan. Second
Okay.
one is we're gonna create a device that disrupts. The goal is to disrupt Sloan, or really any holographic / thing that functions like that. Disrupts its form. Bigger the better, or a bunch of little ones. And then 3 was, what was our third plan?
Contact.
Contact lenses. The contact lenses to prevent being possessed.
Okay. So
that's not what we say in character, but to prevent the
But that's
possession.
it's basically
Yeah.
character.
So for the first one, unless you're doing any specific modifications to the sensors, then I wouldn't make it a roll. Like if you're just saying, if you detect any unauthorized hologram activity, that's easy.
Can I throw dice at it to see if we generate any momentum?
Okay, yeah. In that case, I will set a
Yeah.
difficulty of 1 on it.
Cool. Yeah, just because you know what could end up being worth it. So I'm gonna say, just me tossing numbers out here at you. Do a reason science check and assisted by, because I feel like this one's my wheelhouse.
It is.
And I
Yeah,
can
that
be
would work.
assisted by Ron, and then the building shit, Ron is assisted by me.
Okay.
We do also too talk to at least I know the doctor's not here for this, but at least for the contact lenses and stuff like that, like we consult with the doctor,
Right.
like for the narrative point. Whether or not it gives us any statistical benefit, I don't care. We include the doctor because we're going to be putting things in people's bodies. It seems like something you talk to the doctor about.
Yeah, one would hope, yes. Okay, so.
Yeah. So I'm thinking reason science by the ship's sensors and assisted by Ron. What is Ron throwing at this?
This being internal sensors, I'm going to call it sensor security for the Dauntless.
Okay.
So it really is a difficulty 0 roll.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna call it reason science for you with your sensor operations focus,
gotcha.
and reason
went and
engineering
rolled.
for Ron.
And Ron, I think Ron's only rolling 1 dice because you're assisting.
Which is just me clicking 1 in the task roll, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, it's been a while, guys.
Yeah.
Did you say the ship was rolling something?
Yes, sensor security for Dauntless.
Man, we are throwing big money at this.
We're like,
I'm gonna have the ship re-roll because I
Yep,
have
you can
technical
do that.
expertise. So let the ship re-roll, please. Thank you.
Okay.
so
All right. So here's what I'm gonna say. We're gonna create an
ship.
advantage. We'll create an advantage with 2 of the momentum
Okay.
for we'll say internal upgraded internal sensors. Just call that, or intense internal sensor scan, and we'll
Okay.
bank the 3 momentum, or the remaining momentum. So that's why everyone, it's sometimes good for those difficulty 0 checks. You have
All right.
a chance of failing, but man, money. So yeah, then we're building the anti-proton or the light anti-proton device, which
Basically,
I
a
think I should be
holographic disruptor. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And
yeah,
I
but
will.
we had to make it sound really paranoid, okay?
Yeah, look, we got it. It's got a cool. Both are neat Star Trek names. We can argue which one's better. So yeah, I'm gonna roll the reason science. The way I see it, I'm writing the plans and Ron's building it.
Okay. So
If
Ron
that's
is
our
going to
deal.
take the lead on this one, I think.
Yeah, I'll totally assist, but narrative, I draw up the blueprints and then hand it to her to be like, build this.
Okay. So
I am the arrogant scientist. You are the.
So let's do control engineering for Ron.
Okay.
And I'm going to set the difficulty here at 3. But
I think I potentially get well, I don't know, it depends because my focuses are kind of weird, but I potentially get one of them. This I don't know actually.
Oh, what is
I
it?
would say computer's focus. I could see that applying here.
And then that's
So I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, that's so I'm sorry, I feel stupid every time I ask this, but am I clicking 3 at this point because it's a difficulty 3?
No, you're
Throwing
clicking
that
2
forward,
because
thank
that's a
you.
normal task roll.
Okay.
If you want to buy an additional die with momentum, then you would set it to 3.
Why don't you go ahead and do that? Go ahead and do that.
I was gonna say we do have a lot of momentum now.
Yeah.
So,
Because I'm helping you out too. So then at that point in time, we're
Yeah.
rolling 4 out of 5 possible dice at that point.
Jesus Christ!
Go! damn! I'm gonna roll now too.
All right, and yeah, it's gonna be. I'm gonna call it insight science for you.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Does quantum mechanics apply? Do not read that one. That one's not true.
No.
That was a reason science roll. So it does not apply. Gotcha.
Oh, look at
There
him.
we go. Big. I rolled a 1. Damn. Big money. Damn.
So context here, Paul, for your weird look is I only needed 3 successes. That's fucking 6.
Yeah, Jesus.
Mhm.
So
Technically 8.
Technically,
because I helped out there too, and I helped. All right. Jesus. So what just
really
happened?
the
What was the
engineers
difficulty?
on-
Difficulty was 3.
Well, okay, so we beat it by 3. How much floating momentum do we have?
Oh, but
beat it by more
Just
than
2
3. You
then.
beat it by like 5.
yeah, that's right.
So
Okay,
we have 2.
You have a lot of floating momentum.
So,
From which I will allow you to derive an advantage.
So this was our can we so we succeeded. Can we use the extra momentum to make multiples of this device, or make it very
I mean,
portable?
once you've got the plans for it, I'm picturing something akin to a hand phaser.
Cool. Then I'm hoping that we are able to, whenever the plot kicks in, we are able to either fashion a great many of them, or that we have disseminated it to the rest of the fleet.
This is something you'll be able to replicate in ship's armories. I'll give you that.
Cool. Now Ron's the one taking the lead, so I'll let Ron make the decision on how she wants to spend that. But I say more the merrier, or super portable.
She's definitely gonna be like compiling all of this to be sent out, but I don't know exactly how she'd send it out yet.
Cool. So you're
that'd be more
picking the advantage of we're spending that extra momentum so that the fleet has it. Is what you're saying?
I think that's the most well, especially like if this motherfucker pops up again, it's like we might as well have, because we know he might pop up again.
I think it's you're the one building it, and I think it's a good idea.
And also, this is Ron getting to put her name on something.
There you go.
Yeah, true story.
And then our last roll for the contacts.
So, either contacts or some sort of visor-like device. Maybe like a tactical visor. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to have the highest difficulty.
Because we're not doctors.
Well, not only that, but you don't have a baseline of what to go off of. You don't have the reference image. And using the reference image would put you at risk of being indoctrinated, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So the difficulty for this is going to be 5.
Oh,
Could this be something that Jonas could possibly
But also,
do?
isn't contact for the entire crew like slightly not possible because of xenodiversity?
well,
Which is why I was saying like a visor or something.
Yeah, and that's another thing that Ron was like, I don't know that we can make contacts for everybody, but like a visor would be fairly easy.
Cool. Yeah.
Because a visor can be altered to fit.
That's true. Didn't even think about that. Yeah. There you go. Look at me being specious, not thinking about creatures that don't have eyes. That's very true. A different eye, man.
John.
Me and my human different forehead ism. So yeah, I'll totally help with that. I guess the question is, this is definitely something to maybe spend a value on. I'm just not sure if I should be the one to do it. I probably got.
Given that Ron's got the lead on this, it would probably have to be her.
Gotcha. Well, Ron, what are your values?
I'm trying to think of which one would even count. So it's nothing gets thrown away. My crew is my family. Always listen to your ship, and more than the sum of my experiences.
I was thinking the first one or the last one. What was the first one again?
Nothing gets thrown away.
No, the crew, the family one. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, my crew's my family.
Because you're protecting everyone from getting possessed by, essentially an alien AI. That sounds like protecting your family. That's my advice, but I don't, I'm not the guy running the thing.
I mean, I'm down to use it. if it counts, I'm absolutely happy. Part of this is me still being like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with these rolls. So you guys tell me, and I will absolutely roll the thing.
Oh, yeah, I feel like that's kind of what we're doing. So, if you're using a determination, you can call on my crew as my family, or more than the sum of my experiences. Either one would work. That gives you an automatic critical success, which counts as 2 successes out of the 5 that you need. So for the remainder, you're going to roll control engineering.
Okay.
And this might be. This
how
might
am I
be.
helping?
Calibration, I would say, like calibrating it
So-
toward specific frequencies. And Jonas, I will allow your assistance from a narrative standpoint. Like I'd say let's have Jonas down there, like telling them, yeah, this part could work, but there's a frequency window here that you need to cover. Not a roll, however. I'm going to let one person roll an assist, so it'll be one of the 2 of you.
Could cybernetics count here?
Ooh.
Yeah, I could count that.
Because I gotta focus in cybernetics.
I like it.
Somebody's gotta fiddle with my leg when I'm not the doctor.
So I would suggest, Ron, to spend another point of momentum to get an extra die.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, and then what dice do you want me to roll, and what dice would Jonas roll? And we'll pick who's got the better dice. How about that?
It would be either insight science or insight engineering, depending on whether it was you or Jonas.
I'm at 13. Jonas, what do you got?
For insight engineering?
Yes.
Yes.
So I think I at least covered the bases.
I have a 14.
All right, Jonas, why don't you lead us off then? Better than me.
I don't know if I have any focuses that apply here.
Let me check.
Yeah, I don't.
So
None of mine would apply.
I'm assuming in this instance, I've rolled 3 and I'm using my values. So that's another 2. So
So we're at 5. Yes.
okay, so I at least met the requirements.
There you go.
Jonas,
so
I'm going
Jonas
to let
is...
your attunement focus apply here because of your experience with the Skinia.
Okay.
There you go. Big money, Jonas. Big money. Big money. Bam! Jonas gets it done.
Okay, so you guys are once again maxed out at 6 momentum.
There we go, team. Good job.
A total of
came
7 successes.
We came in, we said we were gonna do the thing, and we fucking did it.
Yeah, indeed. Cool. Loving it. So we get the job done. Totally. Yeah. So our characters are totally busy, and we called on Jonas to advise on the last project. So I'm feeling like who's ever's next on the scene sounds good.
All right, so there were some communications that were going to be made with the Zealand also. Who was going to make those?
Shiana.
I'm gonna say super, not Jessa.
Okay. So let's cut to the bridge.
Just kind of like in a security capacity.
Yeah. And we'll give Darrow the ball.
So first, it's to all of the Federation task force ships.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you know, a fleet-wide communication with instructions and security protocols.
Mm-hmm. Basically
So,
telling them this is what to look out for.
Yeah, I think that one's pretty simple. And then it's a person-to-person call to the... Oh gosh, what's her name?
Kismet?
Kismet. To Kismet.
Okay. So, yeah, hailing frequencies are open. This is Kismet. What may I do for you, Commander Darrow, correct?
Yes, Commander Darrow, Chief of Security on the USS Dauntless and of the Federation Task Force here in the Kryn Nebula. We do have some additional security protocols that we are asking that all parties involved with the negotiations here on the station put into place. I will send the details to you, but essentially we're looking for just some additional securities in place against a holographic infiltration.
Holographic infiltration.
It is something that we have encountered before. We do believe that the likelihood of it happening is low, but we are being cautious given the events of the past week.
I see. I must confess our experience with holographics is somewhat limited. In what way could a hologram in what ways could a hologram pose a threat?
Advanced holographic intelligences have been known to go beyond just presenting themselves as a hologram and to integrate themselves into the actual programming of a ship's computer. But like I said,
I see.
This is something that we're taking as a precaution, just because of what happened with your delegation and the lieutenant on the space station.
Like the Timberwolf, then.
Like the what?
Like the Timberwolf.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean.
The Timberwolf was the ship that Sloane hijacked.
Shiana is totally bluffing.
The Timberwolf was under the control of a rogue element, was it not? In much the way you described this hologram as being able to potentially take over a ship?
Yes, that up to the point in which we lost contact with the Timberwolf, that is our understanding.
I see, so we should focus on computer defenses, certainly.
Yes, and if you require any technical assistance, we are happy to help. Just let me know what you need.
We would appreciate an engineering team if one could be made available to us.
Of course. We will put together an engineering team and have them sent over to your ship within the hour, say?
Excellent. I will let the captain know of their arrival.
Thank you, Kismet, and I look forward to our continued talks progressing smoothly.
Indeed. And with that, she closes the channel.
Yes, Mia. Just give me half a second. Let me here.
Give you what now?
Oh, my mom just walked by.
Oh, gotcha.
I was like, I thought she was talking to her cat.
But she was talking to the cats, so.
Not wrong then.
It's kibble time for the cats.
That makes sense.
They like to have a little before bedtime snack.
All right.
And who is
So,
his engineering team going to be?
yellow shirts, I'm just thinking. Unless you have
Yeah.
someone specific in mind.
No, just, just, yeah. Anyway. We'll send some yellow shirts over to the Zealand. It'll be great.
If it's possible, Jonas would like to do it.
To do a thing? Okay, go ahead.
After helping out with the two in engineering, Jonas would like to retreat to his quarters since he technically can't go to the holodeck right now.
That's true.
He's going to set up a bit of like a meditation area,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to do what the captain asked him to, and he is going to listen.
Okay.
He's going to branch out as far as he can and see if he can hear anything within the area of like the ship and the station.
Okay, let's do this as Insight Command.
Okay.
It will be a scaling difficulty, but we're going to start at difficulty 3.
Okay.
I'm going to spend 2 threat to increase the complication range to 3 as well.
Oh, that's fine. Alright, if it's okay with everybody, I'm gonna buy a dice with some momentum.
Okay.
And okay, let's see how this goes. Well, I got a 3, but I also got a comp.
Yep.
Can I buy the complication off?
Yeah,
If that's
sure.
okay with everyone else.
Yeah, don't need any complications where the Skinia are concerned.
Oh, that could end so badly right now. My brain just went off in like 5 directions. And what could happen with a complication like that.
So, Jonas, you're getting unease. And some of that is just your discomfort in general with this situation.
Mm-hmm.
There is... But you're definitely feeling something tugging at the edge of your mind. Something that's not quite there, though. Like, it feels out of sync.
Okay. Can I hold on to it and let it tug me? Can I follow it?
It's not that kind of a tug.
Okay.
Like it's like something feels out of sync, like trying to grasp a rope and realizing it's not there.
Okay. Is it possible to focus more on it?
No, it's out of focus in a way that you haven't encountered before.
What way have I encountered like it before?
It have not encountered
Oh, have
before.
not. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I guess if that's all he can get, he will make some notes of it and not wanting to directly bother the captain at the moment, he'll go about whatever duties he has at the moment before going to see the captain later on.
Okay.
He's going to try and think about it a bit more before he can feel he can accurately describe it to the captain.
Okay. So, does anyone else have anything that they're looking to do here?
Just waiting for the shoe to drop.
Right? That is kind of how this feels right now.
I mean, the engineering and science team we pulled our load here, so at this point in time.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you for all the momentum. I'm sure that somebody will need them soon.
It's so much.
Momentum and advantages.
All right, so let's switch to the interior of a Defiant class starship for just a moment. And,
oh, this asshole!
and let's drop the shoe, shall we? And from the bridge of this ship, the starbase is visible, the Dauntless is visible, but everything is blurred, like displaced. Colonel Darrow, you are feeling remarkably powerful after a series of augmentations that at the time were very painful, but now you feel like you do not know pain anymore. Activating his emitter, Sloan appears and says, "We've got a 45-second window and get you onto the station and off in that time span. And I can put you in Kismet's visiting quarters. I need her alive and unspoiled."
Then what is my mission if not to kill?
If anyone gets in your way, kill them. But Kismet needs to be brought back aboard this ship intact. Subdue.
Shanna tilts her head. Understood.
And so a couple of things happen at once here. Sloan says energizing. And you feel yourself caught in the transporter beam for just a few seconds, held motionless and powerless. And you materialize in the officers' quarters to a surprised and somewhat confused being that almost looks like a Cation. But that's where we're going to pause that. Because meanwhile, back on the Dauntless, a different klaxon is sounding. "Intruder alert! Intruder alert. Deck 2, Section 14, Captain's Quarters. Intruder alert.
Mobilize.
That would be Shiana, yes?
Yes, that's Shiana running to the captain's quarters.
Okay.
Where am I?
Where are you? You're still on the bridge.
Yeah, as
Computer
far as I know.
location of Captain West.
Error. 2 Captain Wests identified.
Oh no.
Shit. And Shiana, like, goes even faster.
When the alarms sound, Jonas is making his way back to the bridge where he last saw the captain.
Okay, Jonas, you arrive on the bridge, and Bianca's still there. And you can tell she's your Bianca.
Do I feel the other one?
Give me an insight command roll. I'm going to call this difficulty 2.
Insight command. Okay. I'd like to buy a dice if that's okay with everyone.
Okay. And don't forget to reset your complication range back to normal.
I did. I've not done that before. And I only realized too late that sometimes I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
2.
Okay, you met the success. So you were asking... Sorry, my goldfish brain forgot what you were asking.
Can he... I'm assuming he would recognize the other song of the other Bianca the moment it appeared on the ship.
Entirely too well.
So the moment he gets back on the bridge and he sees Bianca, Captain, your Mirror Universe counterpart is here on the ship.
Bianca immediately slaps her comm badge, and then she says, alert the fleet. Mirror Universe incursion. Set all quantum sensors to maximum.
Captain, there was something else. I was listening like you asked, and there's something here, but I can't feel it.
We're going to be playing this one by ear, Lieutenant.
And he'll head to his station.
And she's going to contact the station commander, the station's commander, and be like, we've had Mirror Universe incursion.
Understood.
Scan everything. With and anything that does not belong in this universe, pursue with extreme prejudice.
Understood. Garrick out.
One step ahead, Sloan.
So, Shiana, Commander, you arrive in the captain's quarters, and actually, pause this thought for a moment. Sarah, I have a question for you.
Yo.
Because we had talked a little bit about this this possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Is Mirror Bianca something that you would like to take on, or would you rather pass?
I can take her. Yeah.
Okay. And given the mental state,
I just need to know what she's doing there, because I don't know.
Okay.
You can message me or something. It's just I don't have all the context.
Gotcha. So Bianca Quarti, you have been subjected to months of pure hell. No contact with anyone except for Sloan, who you can't read. And he has tried to get you to break Tuscania conditioning, and you have not broken. But it has cost you dearly. It has cost you almost every shred of humanity and stamina that you had left.
But what am I doing here?
He just dropped you there. Like, took you out of the brig and transported you directly out of the brig into these quarters. Almost as if he didn't care what you were doing.
And so, okay, I guess.
So really, the mental state could be anywhere from catatonic to just raging and tearing apart the quarters that you recognize entirely too well of the other Captain Bianca West.
Actually, what I'm gonna go with is shaking.
Okay.
And
incidentally, no weapons.
Shaking and just like bewilderment, confusion.
Okay. So
kind of looking around like a wild caged animal.
All right. So Shiana, Commander Darrow, when you enter the quarters, that's what you see.
Hands up.
And she just like looks at you. Her eyes are huge
and feral.
And she just like recoils. She recoils at your presence. Like not unlike an animal would that's been caged for a long time and abused.
Put your hands up.
Like you kind of like see a snarl trying to form on her face, but she can't quite do it, and she holds her hand up. She goes, "Why am I here?"
I don't fucking care, but you're not my Captain West, and so you're going to the brig.
And it's not like I haven't seen that before.
Oh. Well, we'll make sure your stay is longer this time, honey. Shiana goes to cuff the intruder, Bianca.
She shrieks, "Don't touch me!"
And along with that, Shiana, there's like a telepathic shockwave. And Captain West, you feel this from the bridge. But Shiana, being at point blank, I would like both of you to do daring command rolls. Opposed.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, I need to bring up other
I've got it, and I can roll it if you need me to, but...
What is my roll again?
Daring command.
Okay.
And I'm spending a threat to give you an extra die. If that wasn't you who just rolled.
Okay. That was not me.
Okay.
And then...
Okay. So, Shiana, even you as a non-telepath feel this just pure primal fury. Not even rage, not even anger, like nothing you've experienced before. You still manage to shrug it off. But meanwhile, on the bridge...
this isn't going to be fun.
Captain, I would like you to make a daring command roll as well.
Okay. Does my composure focus
applies. Yep.
Yeah, I thought so. All right. What's the difficulty?
It's difficulty 2.
Okay.
Okay, made it. So you feel this as well, and being slightly more attuned to being a telepath and being slightly more attuned to this, it almost feels like someone took a sledgehammer to the side of your head. Like you don't take any stress damage from it, but you definitely feel dazed for a couple of seconds.
Can I sense anything off of her? Just
She is an open
general
book.
emotional state. I probably feel despair and confusion and that kind of a thing.
Despair, confusion, manifesting itself as just raw hatred of everything. But also fear and pain. Like, that's what is at the base of this. Like, she is in so much pain, and she's just let a sliver of that out, but there's so much more boiling beneath the surface.
And she just kind of locks eyes with Jonas, and she goes, "This is a distraction."
When she says that, Jonas would like to listen again to see if he can feel anything else that would prove that this is a distraction to them.
Okay, so let's do an insight command. Difficulty is again going to be 3.
Okay. Oh, the thingy vanished.
Yeah, I noticed that. Hang on. There we
Okay,
go.
I was like, how much? Would everybody be okay if I grabbed an extra die?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And then while he's doing that, Bianca is going to bark at Commander Trikev. Rye, scan for cloaked ships. They should be within transporter range.
Aye, aye, Captain. I will begin to scan for cloaked ships.
Okay.
3.
Love scanning for life forms.
Jonas, there is something going on the starbase. There is a part of it is a reaction to Captain West's orders, but if you didn't know better, you would say they probably just got their sensor scan back.
And Bianca at that point is going to slam her comm badge to station security and say, "Lock down all diplomatic quarters."
Okay, so that's happening. While that's happening, let's have Rye make his scan.
Including transporter inhibition, please.
Transporter inhibitors are offline.
Damn it!
Rye, go ahead and make a roll. This is going to be sensor reason science.
And is Catalea on the bridge too? But can we double team on the science or something?
Yeah. I'll let Catalea assist.
Be like, I want you to scan for transporter signatures. Anything in the diplomatic quarters.
I need someone to roll ship.
Oh, yeah. What is the ship rolling?
The ship is rolling sensor science.
Science. Badoop.
Okay. And we'll do an assist from Catalea.
I am going to re-roll one of my dice
Okay.
specifically, because also too, I have Way of the Dara, so I reduce the difficulty to detect hidden dangers by 1.
Okay, good to know.
So detect dangers or hidden enemies, reduce the difficulty by 1. But I will re-roll my die because I am 1 better than the ship.
Okay.
All right, so that brings
So
us a
that's
total
4.
of 4.
All right. So I will say that no cloaked ships in the area, but you are picking up disturbances within the tachyon eddies in the area.
Mm-hmm. So what is that indicative of?
It's indicative of some sort of temporal distortion.
Oh.
All right, so Rye begins scanning. He tells, who's the person that assisted me? What was their name?
Catalea.
What's their rank?
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, give me 13% more power on the upper EM band, please. Captain, I'm not detecting any evidence of a cloaked ship, but I'm detecting some tachyon emissions, which could be the indication of a temporal anomaly occurring, if assuming I know where it is, approximately bearing 17.3.
Order the Yorktown to intercept.
All right. So, I'm going to put us back in Kismet's quarters.
And part of Bianca is saying lock down diplomatic quarters is send security teams.
Yeah, well, I mean, they would have had security right outside the door.
Right, but reinforcements will be nice.
Reinforcements would be nice. So, yeah, Colonel Darrow, you are in Kismet's quarters, and she is somewhat taken off guard. You've got a few seconds before anyone knows you're there.
So, you're gonna come with me, nice and quiet, and that's how it's gonna go. Either that, or you die.
Are you a hologram?
No.
Who then?
Doesn't matter who I am. Just matters that I'm here and I'm taking you away from here.
And the red alert klaxons on the station sound.
Time to go, pretty kitty.
Okay, let's do a daring security roll. Do you have access to your mirror character? Yes? Yes, okay.
Yes, I do.
And
Can I
I've
use
got-
intimidation?
Are you going for a physical conflict, or are you attempting to persuade her to come with you willingly?
I think I'm attempting to persuade.
Okay, in that case, let's do daring command. And let me pull up Kismet here.
Oh, Feb.
Oh Lord.
Oh my gosh, that's so bad.
Bad for that Shiana, not bad for us.
True story.
Oh wow.
Kismet says, I don't think so, whoever you are. Security will be through this door in a moment. You've got one more action before security barges in.
I think it's time for Colonel Darrow to call on a value.
Okay. What value would you like to call upon?
Good enough gets you killed.
I would have gone with that, or violence as a tool. That would have also worked.
Either one of them.
Okay.
And time to physically intimidate the subject.
Okay. So this will be daring security then. It is contested. You have access to the threat pool. If you would like to spend threat for extra dice.
Yes, please.
Okay. So, one extra dice bought.
Kismet can use our momentum.
Okay, would you like for her to?
Oh,
my
jeez.
God. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like take it. Take it.
All right.
Ooh.
It would have been close, except that Shiana did call upon a value.
Ah, dang.
So Shienna, you can either grab hold of her or like just knock her ass out.
I think knock her out and transport.
Okay, go ahead and roll damage for your unarmed strike.
Good lord. Please don't be like my Romulan and destroy everything when he means just disarm.
Only 4? That doesn't seem right. That didn't roll enough. It's supposed to be one plus security. I'm going to spend a threat. Reroll that. Okay, it's still not rolling enough, but... Two, three, 4, 5. She is out. And as you do that, three security personnel force the door open. Freeze! Hands up! Don't move!
And Shanna just laughs. Too late, Starfleet scum.
And with that... Hang on, I gotta do a temporary move to the ready room, and then we'll put it on the bridge. Okay, there we go. Incoming hail from Starbase.
On screen.
On screen, Captain.
Captain, Commander Garrick here. Kismet's been taken.
Inform the Zealand hierarchy of what's going on. We have a mirror universe incursion.
Acknowledged.
And then she yells over her shoulder. They've transported off the station. Track.
So how would y'all like to go about trying to track them?
Koltesh could help being an engineer, though I had an idea that Jonas could do something since it was a temporal distortion that was detected. He has a focus in temporal mechanics.
Okay. What'd you have in mind?
And I was wondering if I could engineer my way into helping with a scan or doing something that could enable us to find their ship specifically and pull it out of the distortion.
Possibly.
Commander, run to the bridge.
I'll let y'all strategize I'll let y'all strategize for a couple of minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I come to the bridge.
Yeah, I think what we need to do is track the transporter signal, and then track the temporal signature, and like cross-reference triangulate the shit out of that.
Okay. Koltesh has a focus in transporters and replicators. He could be used for that.
Cool.
And then, like I said, Jonas has the temporal mechanics, and also been listening out the wazoo, so that could help too. Who knows?
Yeah. Listen to where the sour notes are.
Oh God, is it sour?
The knife is Amazing.
It's like when I first heard Don Juan Triumphant in Phantom of the Opera. It like grated on my nerves so bad.
Nice.
But now I really like it. But it's still one of those things
Right.
you go from like really well put together, flowing really pretty, and then Don Juan Triumphant just starts, and you're like, oh god.
Yeah, and you're like, why? Yeah, no, and it's supposed to do that, and it's very thematic, but no, I get it.
Okay. So, y'all, I kind of want to go back down to the captain's quarters with Shienna and Captain Quarty. Are y'all okay with that?
Okay,
Yeah.
well, before that, Bianca's going to order, I want that transporter signal trace, and then she's going to look at Jonas and she goes, find me the sour notes.
Nice. All right. Down in the officers' quarters, Commander Darrow, you've been hit with this wave of psychic energy, and it took you a second, but to shrug it off, this mirror captain hasn't moved, but is pretty...
She's like
adamant.
in a chair, and her legs are like pulled up into her chest. Like she's defensive, like she could lash out from that position, but she's very defensive. She's not like offensive.
Okay, so Shienna approaches and pushes like her head and like upper body forward so that she can cuff her.
And when you touch her, she starts thrashing. Just thrashing and screaming and crying. Like you can hear like racking sobs, and she's just thrashing and screaming, and there's no rhyme or reason to it.
And so Shienna like engages, even though in her mind she's like, okay, this is cool. This is my captain, but I'm a captain. This sucks. So that by that point they're probably like on the floor.
And she's just screaming, no, don't touch me, no! Like just
and Shienna trying to subdue her, like at least enough to like pull her arms behind her and cuff her.
Okay. Let's do a daring security for both of you here. And I'm going to spend a threat to give Captain Quarty an extra die. No focus here, though. Shienna, your hand-to-hand combat focus does apply, so...
Oh.
Fuck!
Bianca, go ahead and roll an unarmed strike damage.
okay. How many is that? Because I don't.
It's just 1 plus under weapons. If you hit unarmed strike, it should roll the correct amount.
Okay.
But it would be 5 otherwise. 1 plus 4.
Ooh, damn.
That is not. It's not rolling right tonight, y'all. I don't know
No,
what's
it's
going on
not.
with
The
that.
challenge
That's
dice is.
7. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. So 3 stress damage, Shienna.
And she's just like, there's no rhyme or reason to the strikes. That's probably why you got hit.
Yeah.
She's just
right,
lashing out like
right
a
in the
caged
jaw.
animal. Like a caged animal. Like, you know, like if a pissed off tiger, you were trying to like put a collar on a pissed off tiger, like that's what's going on.
Oh, that's my face, bitch. Oh.
And she's just like scooting across the floor, and she's just screaming, "Get away from me! Get away from me! Stop! Don't touch me!" And she's just like like backs up into like a wall, and like she's just scooting across the floor, like just trying to get away from you. But like I said, there's just like there's no thought to what's going on. She is exactly a caged animal.
Right, I think it's time for Commander Darrow to call on a value.
Okay. What value would you like to call upon?
Works best under pressure.
This seems as good a time as any.
And make a move to truly subdue Mirror Bianca.
Okay. It'll be daring security contested once again, but you'll have an automatic critical success going into it. And I'm going to spend another threat to give Bianca an extra die here.
Can I take a dial?
Yeah.
Wait, am I rolling something?
Yes. Daring security again.
Okay.
6 successes the number to beat. So, alright, y'all get 3 momentum out of that.
Nice.
Very nice. And Shiana, you finally managed to kind of put yourself in a position where you can basically slap restraints on Quarty's wrists behind her back.
Like, she's still lashing out, but you can tell she's getting tired. Like, she's
Right.
putting all of her energy into this, just flailing and what have you. And you're able to cuff her, and she just starts, she's, you know that noise that like super distressed people make?
Yeah.
Like, she's
Yes.
making that, and she's crying, and she's just like begging you not to touch her, not to you know, not to hurt her, not to touch her.
Lord, someone needs to be sedated fast.
Like, it's
Darrow,
gone from like demanding to begging.
That's a Darrow to Pierce call.
Okay.
Meet me in the brig on deck, whatever this deck is,
Okay.
with your
Most
sedation.
powerful sedative.
Yeah, with your most powerful sedatives on
Yeah.
hand, please, Doctor.
Yep.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
In an emergency situation like this, when there is a risk of, say, Mirror Bianca somehow being able to get free or causing a much larger scene because she's a telepath and possibly telekinetic, would it be sensible to do a site-to-site transport instead of walking?
He's got a point.
I would think this would be like an emergency situation where walking might be considered too much of a threat.
How far is the brig from the officers' quarters?
So, I'm going to say 3 decks. I mean, it's not going to take long, but a site-to-site transport certainly would be quicker.
Also, neural inhibitor.
Okay, crap. I'm gonna say no to the site-to-site transport. I mean, Shiana's saying no to the site-to-site transport. She's
Yeah.
just gonna walk Cordy to the brig.
Okay. So that's what's going on there. All right then.
Hey guys, I might lose my computer here because I can't find my charger cord.
Oh
Oh,
no!
no.
Where's your phone?
Oh no, my computer
I know, but where's your phone?
in my pocket.
Okay, just in case.
Yeah, use Discord on your phone.
Yeah, I am using Discord on my phone.
Oh,
but
okay. Well, if we
I might
do
lose my
you,
ability to roll.
gotcha. We are coming up on 10:30 anyway, so I am
just
going
trying to find my. I'm really confused because I checked to make sure I had it before I left, and the pocket's open, which would suggest that I got it out at some point, but I don't remember getting it out. I can't find it. That's worrying because charging cords are expensive.
Right?
I mean, any charging cord is expensive, but
especially for Apple products.
it's not that much more expensive. It is more expensive, but not like hideously so.
Right. Well, so we are going to wrap up here rather quickly, because I'm putting us on the bridge of that Defiant class ship once again. With Colonel Darrow, you have transported back onto the bridge along with Kismet. Sloane says, "Excellently done. Activating temporal drive." And
Oh, I'm gonna feel that.
the Starbase 374, the Dauntless, and Yorktown all disappear. You, from the bridge of the Dauntless, you see a temporal rift open. And for just a second, you see a Defiant class ship decloak as it enters this portal that then closes behind it. And that is where we're going to leave off tonight's episode.
And Bianca is like, has this like the beginning of a snarl